Welcome back to the UKLC. I'm still Viper and Jabbar alongside me for what could be our final game of semi-finals if NVision can grab themselves a second win. And we're straight, you know what? We're straight on to the picks and bans, Jabbar. No messing around here. Let's get these picks through. And there wasn't really anything wrong with either of the drafts. There was just some issues with execution.
Yeah, and with that in mind, I do wonder how much of a run back we get on the draft. Right now, 3 for 3 on the bans. I actually can't remember exactly yet. Zin's out, so that's 4 for 4. So that's my biggest question. How big of a rerun do we get on the draft?
Was the Graves banned last time?
Yes, the Graves was banned last time. Zin's out and Aurelia were the NVision bans. Ziggs and Graves were the first 2 from London. And now let's see if there's a difference. Viego, so that's 5 for 5. I remember them as they pop up, but not as they banned away. Obviously, Gwen was in the game. Thresh was also in the game, so it's the Blanc. Yeah, so same picks and bans, or bans rather. Will it be the same Gwen first pick? It will be. So
yeah,
London at the very least happy about the bans and their first rotation. NVision don't feel an issue about their bans either. And you know, Diana rotated here, and well, do we just get the rerun again? Do we just see the Lucian come in? Set is obviously the other option, but I mean the hover's there, and if it's not broken, I suppose don't fix it. As far as
sure that we're
getting
not
the
watching
result,
a rerun. Max, are we watching the live game right now? Is that
I'm-
okay? No, we got Norlis. There we go. Confirmation.
Okay.
It's different. Don't worry.
different. So Norlis
Still
is
good.
going to give London a little more agency now in terms of finding engage. And if the Tristana gets locked in, it means I would imagine this will be Beely's and this will match Quanitus in the mid lane. So there's the different look from London. They want to get a little more aggressive. They tried the more defensive route in game 1, weren't happy with it. So this time around, this is what we're going to see. And now for NVision. What are we going to be looking at here? Are we just going to go for something like Braum, something defensive on the bottom side for Oldstone?
Thresh is up.
I mean, Thresh is up, but it's into Nautilus. It actually will just be the AD carry that they're going to lock in. So Kai'Sa will go back into the hands of Fuyu. This does actually give London the opportunity, if they want to give Mankey the Tristana, to give Mankey an AD carry game for a change. So if you're NVision here, you probably want to ban out some like aggressive bottom laners, but to be honest with you, the flexibility of the Tristana is a bit of a worry for me, but they don't really have anywhere else to ban out. That's the issue, right? You can't ban out supports, you can't really ban out top laners, because you need a top laner. Akaz is probably going to be using the Gwen, and you want to pick the support yourself. So if you're London, this makes life really easy, because you can do something like, you know, a proactive support like Leona, plus a defensive support like Braum, and you're probably happy with your bans, like realistically. Or on the opposite side of that, you could go down this double top lane ban again, where I think last game it was Camille plus, oh no, it was Set plus, what was the other one?
I think it was the.
Was it the Camille?
I think it was the Camille. We're gonna see your ban this game.
Yeah, I mean Camille again. So this time around, London leaving the setup if they want to give NVision that option. They feel like this time around they don't want to deal with the Wukong, so maybe have something else in mind in terms of draft. But I mean, if I'm NVision,
Same again.
okay, same again. So right now, pretty much the same draft. What are they missing here themselves from the previous draft?
They missed their support from the previous game, which was Blitzcrank. So we'll have to see if that's the direction they want to go.
Yeah,
in,
no,
but
I think this time around, probably looking more towards a Leona pick is probably what I would wedge my bets on. It's a good matchup into the Nautilus in lane. You give yourself some hard engage, an immediate rotation of Karma plus the Gnar. So Gnar going to go into Akka's hands. Karma should be in Mankey's, and I expect this Gwen obviously to be in No Name's hands. So a big shake-up in terms of what London have done with their draft. As for NVision though, I mean, relatively speaking, it's going to be operating the same way. Yeah, it's not really changed. Expecting, you know, Braum, Leona, maybe a different engaged support, but they're actually going to try Trundle into the support role.
Support Trundle, bring it back.
Okay.
I have to give a huge shout out. Doctor called this like 3 weeks ago. He was like, Trundle's good support. People are sleeping on it. So maybe also to be listening to him. But that's, they managed to pick the Malphite, and it was kind of a gotcha moment where they were like, oh, you think it's Gwen top? Haha, nah. And then DBL's like, haha, Malphite.
Yeah.
So,
and the thing about it is Malphite does really damn well into Gnar in lane. You might suffer the first couple of levels, but after that, you're absolutely fine. You have to maybe worry about some of the diving threat from a Gwen, but realistically, you're going to be okay in the top side, and what you're going to be able to provide for your for the rest of your team in these team fights, very consistent hard engage onto multiple targets who are relatively easy to find, right? The rocket jump has a buffer, so Tristana realistically needs to flash to get away from it. Karma is Karma. Gwen can't, like, always, she's not always going to be able to dash away from it. So strong targets for DBL. And I think, again, NVision have a draft where, you know, the focus point is you're leaving DBL up in the top side. He's going to be fine. You've got the mid jungle, and you're going to try and transfer this down, most likely to the bottom side of the map. So I like what NVision have put on the table, and I like the adaptation made here by London, where now Beely, again, on, you know, sort of a more carry-orientated pick in the Tristana, and then, you know, you've got Mankey back on another utility mage, you've got Engage, hard Engage this time, crucially, through Hepe, and generally speaking, teamfight prowess is still going to be London's thing.
Well, it's going to be a case of, will they be able to turn this one around? Because London Esports lost the first game. This is, They have to win this one and another in order to take their spot in Telemasters and the final of the UKLC. We mustn't forget that the final best of 5 will be occurring tomorrow. So you're going to want to shoot in on that one to see who's going to be crowned champion. But it's such an interesting draft that we've got, because NVision, as we said, they picked pretty much every single thing that they had last time, but have swapped a couple of champions around, brought in the Malphite instead of the Blitzcrank and put it up in the top lane. On draft, who do you think's winning this game?
I think NVision have the more kind of composition where I look at it and I say, it might not objectively be better than London's. In fact, I think the drafts are actually relatively neutral, all things considered. I think, you know, bottom side, like, that's probably NVision's angle. Mid lane can be a thing for London, but I think there's just more agency options available, generally speaking, to NVision. And when I think about things like the Moonfall plus the Unstoppable from Malphite, it just seems a little bit too much. I feel like in these team fights, now that NVision have given themselves greater tools to work with in them, will London be able to stand up to it after the game that we just saw? I'm not entirely sure.
I mean, London Esports managed to weather the storm for long periods of the first game, but of course they did come out with the loss. We're going to jump into the rift. Sorry, that one took a little bit longer than previously. We had a little bit of a pause at the beginning, but we've worked out the issues now, and everyone's heading down towards the bot side.
Yep, classic bomb brush stack. However, the one from NVision is actually here in this brush for a change. It looks like Old Stones went up to the top side. Maybe thought that he was playing top lane this game. No one's here, so this should just be a lane ward put down, or actually going to look even further, potentially, as a spot for you, but they're not going to force anything. Definitely a prodding level 1 from London, but nothing too intricate per se. And NVision, they don't really do much either on the other side, so...
Do you want to buy some items there, Diana? Or...
Oh no. Oh no. No, he doesn't know. Oh no, Juanatis. Please go back now. At least go back now. Please don't do the red buff.
Yes, come on.
Juanatis, please.
We've all done it, but
no.
Not in a UKLC playoff semi-final.
Oh my god. It's
when he doesn't level to 2, he'll realise. Or might have already done so. But London Esports, if they needed a way into this game.
Oh my god.
As a jungle player, you seem to be in pain. Yeah, there's the back. Okay, cool. So,
no.
I was going to say, what do we expect from the two junglers? But...
Oh my god.
I feel like...
I need a second.
What are we expecting from... Okay, but you know, I'll just talk about this. Let me know when you're good to come back and chat about what have we just seen. Because he's going to move to the bot side, going to probably look to pick up the second buff. Just going to be able to secure that one. Now has that jungle item and refillable pot. Value and a red ward. Look at that. First back completed by Inotis. But No Name just going to go for that full clear. You've got to imagine pretty similar stuff to what we saw last time.
Okay, I've recovered.
Okay.
I will say, if junglers... Oh, he even missed the Q on the blue buff. Just take the camera away. Junglers, if you ever find yourself in this position where you forget your jungle item, and it happens, right? I think the reason why Hornetis actually forgot is because we had a pause at the start of the game. And that's just how life goes. Do not do your first camp. Go and get your jungle item. Without the jungle item, you get a fraction of the XP from the camp. It's why Hornetis didn't level up to level 2 when he did the red buff. I can't remember the actual number, or Observer's saying 30%. That
seems low.
Honestly sounds about right.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
bro.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right.
He looked it up. Raphael knows what's
And he even looked it up, yeah. So, 30% of the XP, but I love our Observer, by the way. It's not a great start. And now, if we look at how this actually impacts the jungle matchup, right? Because Hornetis, he just did this bottom side skull, but he's still got 2 camps on the top side. No Name's finished every camp on this side of the map plus the skull, and now he's looking for a play on the top side while Hornetis still has to be farming.
He's leveled down on those Raptors. DB Yao does have flash available, but Aka's already dove onto him. A lot of damage coming on through as he's going to be taken pretty low. Actually, teleport coming through. No Name takes 3 tower shots and needs to back away, but Yonotas is coming on down. Faded there as well, but Beely trying to chase on. It's going to be first blood going over to Diana. Was it ever in doubt?
Okay, all right. Early game.
He was exactly where he needed to be.
Stabilized for...
He's just playing on a different level because he needed to have that slower clear so he could be there to pick up the first blood from Akers. Or from No Name even.
He had the foresight.
Smart.
No Name is going to full clear bot to top, do Skull Crab, and then gank top. And Oldstones, yeah, ooh, if that hook connected onto Oldstones, he probably would have died. Heal was blown by Fuyu to keep his support alive, but yeah. Bit of recovery here for Hornetis. The jungle matchup definitely going to be a little more equal now. However, you still have to remember, because he had to do the red buff, reset, walk back out onto the map, did his wolves. His camps are only now just spawning, whereas No Names, they're pretty much already kind of on the map, right? The wolves are going to spawn in a second. And the Raptors are already up, and it looks like he's going to actually go onto the dragon, potentially, or maybe an invade. Priority from bot and mid, looks like the dragon. So, No Name still has the tempo advantage in terms of being out onto the map. Just that Hornetis' early game isn't as doomed as it was around 3.5 minutes ago.
Dragon currently uncontested. Don't know if anyone from NVision is going to turn up to that one, and should be going over to No Name pretty simply. Mountain Dragon giving them a little bit of tank stats, a little bit of survivability. We're going to be able to grab that one, no worries at all. But where do we want to see action from these two teams moving towards stuff like First Rift Herald, stuff like Second Dragon? What are we expecting?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, with NVision, you really want to utilize the Malphite armor. You really want to utilize the Moonfall as well in particular. I think once you do have the Subjugate available, from Old Stones, I think skirmishing on either side of the map is going to be very, very powerful. Anywhere Akers is, anywhere that Hepe is, you're probably going to have a pretty nice time of it. But just as long as you've got the agency tools, I think you can make plays anywhere. And this is an example of that.
Coming on to Fade, and he's in trouble. Oldstones is there, but it doesn't matter. He's going to go down, and now Trundle actually is the next target. And here comes Unodis. Doesn't have ultimate yet, though, so cannot go do the Moonfall. But Beely going to be stumbling away. One more auto attack onto Oldstones wasn't enough, as Hepe has to put up the shield to escape. A big shield coming out from Karma to make sure everyone gets out okay. It's just the 1-for-0 in the mid lane, but good turn from London Esports.
Yeah, pretty good turn from London Esports, all things considered. NVision not quite able to respond with anything during this play. And again, we was kind of speaking about, I suppose, the proactivity tools of NVision, but, you know, London, they've got them as well. Via the Nautilus, Karma can enable picks like the Gwen and the Gnar, so there are a lot of options on both sides. See how well they can continue to use them. As Herald is in 1 minute's time, it feels like a much longer game than 7 minutes. Maybe Hornetis' first clear just mentally did that to me. But both the junglers are level 6, so with those abilities available, that's where I start to expect them to enter into lanes, be a little more willing to take skirmishes around these neutral objectives. And in particular, I'm looking towards NVision. I feel like they do edge out a little bit. I think if the setup is there, however, for London, you know, and maybe favoring them if they get a nice Gnar into, the full-up needlework, etc. Can be very, very devastating. But, Malphite R, Moonfall, you chuck just Fuyu on top of it, right? With all of the AoE damage that he can put out, with the Acathian Rain and a couple of auto attacks. Genuine threat in terms of backline dive.
I like that. I like the recipe for the team fight for NVision. It's just like you add liberal servings of Malphite and Dana. Then you just, sprinkle a bit Fuyu on top as a treat, if you're feeling it. But the game has started slower than the one we saw before. And a part of that is the junglers not necessarily being able to get on the map as quickly, and the first gank going awry for London Esports. It's difficult to have too much to chat about because there's not huge amounts have gone on. There's been small leads being accrued, especially in that top side. Aka's having a pretty decent time into the Malphite right now in terms of farm, which is kind of what you expect in a half range versus melee matchup. But DBL on this Malphite has level 6, so he's going to be useful.
Yeah, absolutely. The gold lead, or rather the CS lead, was actually a little bit larger than it was a couple minutes ago. Aka's was leading maybe 20 CS, so DBL's actually caught up a bit. As NVision going to start this Herald, and looking at where London are right now, it looks like they actually maybe want to make the rotation over with Hepe walking up here, but it is complete darkness for them to walk into right now. And its first move as well from DBL.
They want faded. They don't want the objective. They're going to be able to secure the kill onto the Lucian.
And continue on.
The Rift Herald hasn't been taken. It's just been secured by NVision, but Aka's on the top side. He's Mega Gnar. He has the ultimate available if he wants it. DBL goes super, super low, but is going to be caught out. One more shot is needed from Beely, as they will be able to turn and get onto Unotis as well. The resets are big and the fight is huge. NVision grabbed the objective, but nothing else.
Yeah, they lose 3 members, and now Hepe,
supporter combat,
being a menace.
Why is Old Stones there?
Oh yeah, that's the wrong side of the map.
Because that's not your jungle, and you're the support.
Yeah, that's a great point. Well, that's a brilliant point. Well,
do you have an answer for me, or
no, I don't.
We have a replay.
It looks like his exit path just happened to be that way. So Faded gets caught out because he actually tries to rotate over on Vision because of the minion wave. Herald picked up. Qantas does secure it, but you can see all of the AoE damage. And Vision just aren't the ones going in here because their focus was so heavily on securing the Rift Herald instead of taking the fight. Having just lost Faded, they didn't feel comfortable or confident trying to chuck themselves at the people that just took down Faded. So they lose out on all the kills. Do get the objective, but 4 kills, if you think about it like this, until 1,275 gold, or 74 if you want to be super specific about it, handed over to London, just in the kills alone. Practically the gold we see right now on our screen. A Herald isn't necessarily going to make that.
I was going to say, what does the Herald need to do in order to make that play worth it?
A Herald needs to take the entire tower. However, okay, well, Hepe just missed the most... well, we know what Dredge Line's capable of doing, so I'm not going to go any further than that. However, NVision might look for something here.
Also, you notice they've caught each other out. Now No Name's going in. The ultimate has landed onto the down. It has the move ball available though, so it does need to be a little bit careful. Going to be able to land it onto No Name. He's going to be able to cut down for the first kill of the fight. Old Stones is going to be the next. He's going to follow immediately afterwards. Fade has caught out the Dredge Line. This time is good, as London Esports pick up a triple in the mid lane and can look to press towards Dragon or towards the bot lane Fuyu. Not interested in involved.
Throws up the white flag. He knows
like,
his
Mankey,
team.
Please.
He's like, hey, Mankey, buddy, you and I, we've been farming down here for a little while.
Weak side bros. Fuyu complains about being put weak side, and then Mankey points to the fact that he's playing Karma's ADC. And it's like, bro, I feel you. I know the pain. Yeah.
So, to answer your question, Herald certainly can't make up for a 7-kill extended.
Okay.
I think even if a full tower went down, wouldn't make up for the gold deficit that NVision now find themselves in. And it's just the fact that both these players had the sweep up and available. It looked like NVision were maybe looking to be the proactive ones, but they didn't know they were spotted out. So, just chopped up, snip, snip. And eventually, Beely also picks up a kill for himself. And those are the members that you really want to see the kills on, right? Beely on the AD carry, No Name on the AP carry of this team. Both accelerated. Riftmaker come in, Gale Force already also there for Beely. So assassination threat definitely readily available. Not only that, repositioning versus the Malphite, such a big deal, being able to Gale Force into a different position away from those divers. Big tool to have, and now looks like both these teams going to scrap it again.
Judge line misses as the damage coming on through. Yepe is going to be taken low and will be culled down. Faded, securing that one. DBL's in the neighborhood now. Could look to try and get the dive onto No Name with that unstoppable force. Beely there as well. But again, it's just it's a support just being overextended, getting taken down.
Yep, support after support. How the fight held up, which makes me oh yeah, the bottom stuff.
He's in trouble a little bit. There's too many members. There's a Rift Herald there as well, and I think Karma probably goes down here. Nice flash to avoid your notice, but not going to be able to survive too much longer. Actually, one more down will be able to trade this one out. In the mid lane, Beely going low as DBL dives forward. Will be able to get killed, but it's going to be returned with his life. Faded goes low. We did see the Karma eventually taken down off screen, but that was an all foregone conclusion. NVision 2-1 on the trade, and we'll be able to get the charge down bot as well.
Honestly, not terrible for NVision because they got the shutdown, crucially, off of Beely. That was 700 gold, plus this power, which they should get, right? Okay. And now all of a sudden, the gold is almost even. So, gold trade, not terrible. Yeah, flash, heal, blown, teleport as well, comes out from Mankey. So loads of summoner spell trades happening, but in terms of gold, which we actually have on our screens, let's see where everything's actually sat. So the top lane is equal. Jungle, as expected, for No Name a little bit ahead. Punches around 500 gold. In the mid lane, 1,000 gold difference between Beely and Faded. But again, so many kills given over, it makes sense. DBL should be fine. Just getting jumped onto, and of course, we also saw Fuyu. A pretty sizable lead, actually, for himself. Well, here you go. More plates going over to Beely. 460 gold. So, actually, how much gold did he have in his inventory? Just now. Okay, only one. So, it's going to be like a Zeal, something else at worst. But yeah, you can see London, a lot of gold to actually spend. All resetting now to get back out onto the map. Yeah, Lord Dom's actually not a terrible shout. And I imagine they will look to fight at this Herald. But again, that passage of play, not terrible for NVision, honestly. Clawing back a majority of the gold deficit they were just in, things don't feel as bad anymore. If you take a look at the Mythics in particular, matching a lot of lanes. Malphite, you know, full build at Mabby's, so okay, well, he just upgraded to Crossfire Gold. So yeah, Mythics across the board, pretty much all even. So as far as fights are concerned, still a little bit execution based. However, you do look towards NVision to say, all right, ease of execution right now, Moonfall plus that unstoppable force from the Malphite should be winning out. And it's all going to be about whether Akkas can find those really big Meganars with Pepe on the front of the line for London to find those heart engages.
It's so much more conditional for London in order to get those fights going. And NVision, they've got this ease of execution. There's so much to be said for that at this kind of level. And you know, Allstones might be looking to get the flank down. Hepe has been spotted, but he's got support from Beely. He's got support from No Name. This is going to be a full-on fight as Allstones looks to stay alive. They managed to get the knock up onto Fuyu. They're trying to get the resets. They're trying to get the damage, and they will be able to with Beely. He's going to look for Allstones. We'll be able to find him, but you know, manages to land a decent ultimate. It's not going to matter, though, as Beely just wasn't there. DBL chased away, Faded, chased onto, and might not be away, taking a decent amount of damage from Akkas. He's going to take a full cover. He's going to get really, really mad. Mankey going to give the shield, still supporting No Name as he chases deeper and deeper, but the unstoppable force will stop him in his tracks. London Esports picking up the fight, could look towards this mid tower, but do need to be a little careful.
Yeah, do need to be a little bit careful, but realistically, Malphite just uses the ultimate defensively. No engaged tools left in the tank for NVision. They should be able to retreat back to this dragon, pick it up. And yeah, again, buying heads in the river. But crucially, it's Fuyu just gets removed from the rift. I didn't even see his health bar break. He just died. From that point on, it was almost always going to be a London affair. He will pick up this dragon. Third of the game, one away from Soul, and it's a really big condition, if you ask me. Ocean Soul in a game like this can be very beneficial if some of these key engage tools miss, and then we start to see some more long-range fights. You'll see what I mean. He just dies. I was more focused on the front line of Fonatis and Allstones, who eventually do just get chopped down anyway. But again, you can see some of the strength of No Name and Beely being so far ahead, untouched in this fight pretty much. Faded, almost a victim of the skirmish that he wasn't even involved in initially.
London Esports put themselves in a decent position. Now, in this game, I would like to say, I think it's reasonable to suggest that, and now they need to see if with this gold lead they can push on and try and close out this game, because this is something that London Esports has had a little bit of a problem with this season so far against stronger opponents, where
Sure, yeah.
they haven't really been able to get that finishing blow. They haven't been, even against that match against Lucent, who had a very good second half of the split, which is why I'm calling him a strong opponent. They just couldn't break them down for a good 25 minutes, and second Rift Hell going to be secured by NVision, so they're not going to have that tool to try and break down any more objectives. But for NVision, they're not too far behind, and this one can stabilize.
Yeah, could potentially stabilize them. It's all going to be about that soul fight, realistically. It shouldn't come down to anything else in most worlds. And again, just got to look for DBL and Monetis to eventually find this engage. Once it comes through, things can start to look a lot more positive for NVision, but until then, it's going to be very, very difficult. And London, they definitely know this. They have been playing around it a fair amount. They've been playing to numbers advantages in a fair amount of these skirmishes. However,
yeah, they can have to use that ultimate. The fight breaks out in earnest. Unottis still full health, though. DBL goes low, but nice on stumble force. Manky needs to be super, super careful, but will be able to back away. The first kill of the fight goes over on to Unottis, who's going to be taken down as Akka's running through, throwing a boulder, hits on defended, but the heal gives some speed. They're still going to be chased away, though, as it's going to be snip, snip, snip. No Name looking to cut people to shreds on the back end. Won't be able to find anyone, though, and is forced to back away. Another fight goes London Esports' way.
Yeah, and I mean, it's NVision that kicked that one off. They look for the engage, they look for the wombo combo we're talking about, but there just isn't enough follow-up damage. And after seeing that, I'm starting to wonder if they even will end up having enough damage. I mean, I feel like the follow-up just has to be there, right? Chucking the Diana, chucking the Malphite, and then Fuyu has to be able to dive in. In this case, he wasn't able to dive in and execute anybody because of the positioning. Too close to the tower. And being too close to the tower, it just means Fuyu not feeling confident enough to dive in, find some more kills, find another pick. But those are the types of engages we need to see, just not necessarily in that position.
For me, it's a case of NVision have this really great team fight combo, and they need to be able to allow it all on the same targets at the same time with follow-up. And
Yeah.
I think that with follow-up is the bit that we're struggling with right now in terms of NVision, because they're landing the Unstoppable Force, they're landing the ultimates from Diana, the Moonfalls. Fuyu's able to dive on in, but past that, there's nothing else really going on in these team fights. Well, there's some dying going on, but that's not necessarily particularly helpful. And London Esports have been pretty good at dancing around, getting away. You saw Manky in that last fight, able to get a big shield off and then back away on a sliver of health. Could have been a massive turning point in the play.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a case of every time that this combination doesn't work from Vision, the next one gets harder to pull off because they fall further apart.
Absolutely. Like you say, everyone that's failed is another one that makes the success rate or chances even lower come the next attempt. So NVision, they need to find something. Looking to sneak a Baron, but now it's on. Oh wait, no! Look at the members of London. Wow. Okay, I mean,
bot side.
yeah, everyone they were looking for a bot side player. No Name is far enough that this could be bursted down, but there's teleports coming through, and now all of the other crucial members of London are here.
Akka's needs to get
NVision, they're stuck in the pit now.
Akka's needs to get mad, because if he can get a big ultimate off, it's going to be massive. There's the 3-man ultimate faded over the side. What's the Baron as it goes low? It's going to be Baron. There's so much going down. NVision will be able to steal it away. As I can see, it's also to secure that one, I believe. But DBL cut over on the pit. They get the Nautilus, and 3 members escape. It was brave. It was touch and go. It was Kaiser who secured it. Fuyu once again. But NVision secured himself the objective.
Oh my goodness me. I mean, I understand the play, but my goodness.
What's the buff?
Yeah, look at the buff. So, actually, if we could get a slowdown once the Baron actually gets really low, because I think crucially, Quanasis, look at him. He actually dies. He gets CC'd. He dies, I think. Yeah, Beely picks up the kill, but look at the Baron. 700, 400, 300, 200. 42 HP. And an auto attack.
It's an auto. It's
Fuyu.
Kraken Slayer empowered.
Yeah, and during this replay, London got soul. They have the Ocean Soul now, so things just kind of get harder for NVision, realistically. the gold difference actually isn't that wide, considering the kill difference here. I think it does still speak credit to how NVision have played out a fair amount of this game. And as well, of course, the CS scores, etc. Do play a fair factor into that. Things like shutdowns being picked up by NVision because their kills have primarily probably been shutdowns. But it does give you, I suppose, a glimmer of hope if you're looking at NVision to try and 2-0 this. It's possible, just likely not plausible. Wait, no. Plausible, not no. You know what? Forget that. English, whatever.
You were technically correct.
Yeah.
What you said, I think. So
I think so.
If NVision could take a big team fight now, if they can make this combination
like
work,
this flank, perhaps.
And it looks like they're going to try and make this work. Nara in the top side has just gone Mega, so he's not going to be particularly useful in the fight. And is going to try to speed, but he's buffing it so expertly. And now the damage is going to come down the other way. Ultimate from Nautilus used to engage the fight further. And a ripped to shreds. Fuyu on the side is untouched though, and it's driven into the backline. He gets onto Aggers. Can he get more? No, not really. As DBL and Old Stones are chased away. The tanks are going to be routed as DBL is cut to pieces. Old Stones, it lives to tell the tale, lives to tell the others, but there's no one else to tell as London Esports can push forward.
Yeah, honestly, London, off the back of the Mega Gnar from Ackers, are likely going to break open the base. They only have 1 minion, but I feel like somebody's going to be able to tank it. Probably Hepe, and they should be able to just get through this tower. Absolutely fantastic Gnar almost back-to-back here for Ackers. And they're actually not even going to go for the inhib. I feel like they don't have enough time. They don't want to risk potentially being run down. Rather keep the tempo. So the base, at the very least, is open. So if they find another fight, that mid lane inhibitor can be taken down. But it's just another superb ultimate from Ackers to secure another teamfight win from London. And NVision, you could kind of feel the desperation in that engage. Oh, that's the base.
Oh, he's been stopped, and he might actually go down here. Hepe going to be able to get the anchor to the wall and should be able to get a blast it out, but I don't know if he's going to be able to survive, though, as he's spotted on the wall. There's no blast on the other side, and Hepe... No, it was all fine from the beginning, but No Name actually walked into the wrong neighborhood. They know where people are. Ackers needs to get really mad really quickly, looking for the ultimate. We'll be able to find the first kill of the fight. Fuyu managed to secure that one, and now where's the ultimate? There it is! Three-man knock-up into the wall, as the Eve on the other side has returned to the fight, gets a nice pick onto Faded, and will be able to help secure the kill. Goes down in the process because he was super low, because he hadn't recalled, and now Old Stone's chased onto. He's going to be cut down. Double kill for Beely. Now has that reset on the rocket jump. Does he want to go in? Doesn't look like he's super keen on the idea, but will maraud forward nonetheless. Another amazing Nara ultimate, but this time it's only a 2-for-1.
Dude, nah, Ackers is playing out of his mind this game. 2 back-to-back, or 3 actually, back-to-back-to-back. Fantastic ultimate. And I got so excited because I thought the follow-up was going to be there, and honestly, they could have just wiped the entirety of NVision off the back of it. And it was one of the questions we had coming into this game, right? The execution threshold to, you know, some of these team fights a little bit higher for London, trying to find some of these Nara ultimates. And you can see it all starts off with Hepe getting his base interrupted, but he manages to make it all the way out. He doesn't actually get run down, and then No Name entering his own jungle just a little bit too complacent, let's say. Ackers gets the Mega Gnar. Even though his jungler dies, you're gonna see he just jumps in, flash forward, all 3 members up against the wall. There's just not quite any follow-up there. No resets, no CC. Faded is going to just about pick off Hepe, but trades his own life for it. Not the best in the world, and Old Stones as well. Both kills go over to Beely.
Vision looking for a flank on the play as we come out of that replay, but London are the ones running forward. Ackers is mad, so can go Mega on demand. Beely on the side. The one who's doing all the damage. Really, really scary, but Faded has been ulted by the Nautilus. No follow-up available, though, as London Esports will look for the inside track. Potentially, they're leaving members to defend their rear, but looking towards this inhibitor. Members recalling from NVision. You've got to imagine this is going to be the shot. This is going to be the opportunity, but they're not going to have a minion way to push any further because your Nautilus is seeing to those minions. Inhibitor secured, but that'll be it.
Malphite's waiting for them in the mid lane as well. So is Vanitas, but London, they know better than to walk into the bottom side where they don't have vision. They're going to walk into the side where they've got this vision set up because Baron's spawning in 10 seconds.
Elder.
very slow as well, but Elder, 30 seconds away. If NVision can somehow miracle away into winning a fight here, Elder is also on the cards, but Akaz is about to mega out, and look at Hepe on the flank if somebody approaches. They've got hooked up, but NVision, they're just going to yield the Baron. They're not even interested in potentially flipping the fight here. They think Elder's where it's at. And honestly, I agree with them, and now it's the vision control that's in their favor.
Oh, they're going to be able to catch onto the Nautilus, taking so low, but he does manage to get away for a second longer. Culling is running down. No Name needs to be careful. He's at the front of the fight, but not particularly tanky, as NVision members also chunked just a little bit. Allstone's on the side, but it is London who are going to be the ones who have to fight into this Dragon area. Akaz moving forward, doesn't have any Narbar though, so he's just going to be throwing boomerangs. It's burning super low. Will they be able to secure it? It's taken by NVision, and now they can look to turn the fight with the execute. No Name wasn't able to get a steal, and will probably pay for it with his life. Faded secures that one as the rest of London Esports running towards the mid lane. They've got Baron empowered minions, but they're not in a position to push on further. Excellent play from NVision.
I can't believe what I've just seen. Honestly, it feels... Anytime UKLC Elders are just the weirdest thing in the world.
Kai'Sa got that as well?
Yes. By the way, Kai'Sa's the jungler in this game because she's the one securing all of these big mega buffs. First Baron, now Elder. It's so flippy, man. It's so flippy. But now with Elder, honestly, NVision, they've got, 2 minutes worth of free time to kind of just roam the map and do what they want. Because London, unless they have Mega Gnar, they're not going to find successful fights. So realistically, this is going to be like mid lane tier 2. NVision can probably push and look at an inhibitor as well. And London kind of just have to respect it a little bit, because with this Elder buff, the execute is just so threatening. It's way too threatening. You can't fight into an Elder. It is so difficult. And I mean, if the Baron buff wasn't here, I would say NVision would just push for the end. Just flat out. And honestly, they might consider it, but it looks like they're just going to back away for now. They've got a wave in the bottom side to work with, so they're going to try and secure 2 inhibitors off the back of this one. A game that should realistically be London's to win. They're looking like they might actually fumble, potentially off the back of dropping this Elder.
Okay, so what NVision could do with it? Pass this first inhibitor, which is a great get. If they can push for more, or if London make a mistake, then it could well be curtains. Remember, they do have Baron buff, so that is still running. So equally, if NVision lose out on this buff play, if they make a mistake themselves, it could be curtains for them. But they've got that game in hand win already, which means it would take us to a third game if London Esports can secure this win. Now the question is, how far are they willing to push? The minion wave isn't there now, and with these Baron empowered minions, they're going to be able to push NVision back a little bit.
Yep, Elder is going to drop off the NVision team, so they will just end their push here. Not willing to commit any further without it, and honestly, rightfully so, without the Elder. Fights going to be a little bit more difficult. London, don't forget, do have that Ocean Soul in pocket, so it's one of the things to note as well. The Elder does kind of nullify the Elder. I mean, the Elder, rather, nullifies some of the ocean effects. You drop too low, then you're not going to get a regen. Simple as that. As now NVision looking to play potentially Pip. You see their red buff being fired up.
Actually, BD's not there though. This is huge if NVision can make this fight stick. And there's the Unstoppable Force. They pick up the Nautilus. He's the only one they're going to be able to fight for now. But that's a pretty decent pickup.
4 almost for the Nautilus. London, however, kind of scattered, so they're going to have to take their reset to Beely. Oh no.
We've seen this one before. Okay, yeah, there we go.
All right, reset. Not going to see any crazy shenanigans this time around. But I mean, NVision, are they just bolting to the end?
I think they're just bowling for the base, If Beely can get back in time, it'll be a 4v5. It's going to be a 4v3. If not, and the Tristana has just got back. Malphite, no ultimate, but that's jumping That's a huge ultimate. Udonis gets butt low, but will be able to go gone. Akaz does the same. Faded goes to half health for the Dana, goes down for the first kill on the fight. Nice, not ultimate into the towers. DBL is cut through. NVision might have overextended. They're going to be chased away. Can they fight Faded? Yes, they can. Can they fight Old Stones? Yes, they can. London Esports make it look easy in their base. Teleports towards NVision's, and now they might look to end themselves.
I am just so confused by the decision making here from NVision on the back end. The initial pick, fantastic. You've secured yourself a numbers advantage. Go secure Vision around top side for Baron. Push London out of the top side jungle. Instead, you go down the mid lane without ultimates, and you almost throw the game entirely away. Now, fortunately, London don't have enough teleports to actually end out the game. So Mankey is going to crack open the base on the top side. No Name, I believe, yeah, secures the inhibitor. And they're also going to lose the bottom side tier 2. But NVision need to take a second to breathe. They need to not get so hypey. You can tell. Nerves definitely in the system. 1 win away from making it to finals. 1 win away from making it to Telia. The decision-making isn't quite straight right now. They need to keep their heads on their shoulders. Because they are on the cusp, but they are a little too eager. A little too eager to please right now. London, they've been playing out the last couple of fights, honestly, not too well. And I think it's just more of a credit to NVision, finding the opportunities and the cracks in the armor of London. But London are still the ones in the lead. They're still the ones with the soul, and inherently the ones with the advantage in these team fights. They keep handing NVision these opportunities, they will eventually themselves also lose the game.
Well, objectives are going to come back out. It's about 25 seconds on Baron, 55 seconds on second Elder. London Esports have control over the Rift right now, as they might look to try and take a fight before these even come into play. But if they group up too much, DBL, he's waiting, is going to have the unstoppable force available and could look to kick this fight off. It's so difficult to call who's going to win in these situations. Akers has just got Mega, so when that one runs down, that will be the window for NVision to start. But this is the window for London to start. That's such a nice hook as they follow through. The damage is massive. Where's the ultimate? It's only going to hit one into a wall. Akers manages to get a stun, but it's going to be forced to back away. Beely in the backline does get dragged in, but Diana is down. Old Stones goes low. Fuyu melted through as NVision are taken out in their base. No Name not messing around this time around as he picks up the Quadra, picks up the base, and picks London Esports up a string of hope as they move into a third game.
They're going to move into the game 3 of the series, the final game here. Win, you are into Telia, you are in the finals. Lose, your split ends and you're going home. London, when it looks shaky, they pull out a miracle fight in the base. I've got to say though, very shaky. Very, very shaky stuff from both teams. You can tell the nerves definitely there. A lot of strong performers individually on both sides, right? Akers on the side of London and on the side of NVision. You know, I feel like kind of across the board, sort of everyone's started to eventually pull their weight. The early game, questionable. But quite frankly, I think when you get to those kind of mid-game stages, we expected the fights to be a little bit scrappy, just maybe not that scrappy. And for NVision, I think it all comes down to that one push after they found their pay. I think if they just take their time, take a second to breathe, and they don't go for that very, very excited and overeager attempt to end, they themselves could have just secured the vision around one of the neutral objectives, whichever one they wanted, and then they look for the fight there on their terms and their ground. But they give it over to London. They give themselves all the kills. They open up their own base because of it, and it all comes down to that one wild hook onto Faded, and team fight just isn't there for them because again, the threshold to win those team fights much higher. Well, I suppose the team fights aren't. You know what? That's what this game has done to my brain. Will,
you need to go recover.
I need to recover. I need to recover, man.
We'll give you a couple of minutes in a break,
Please.
and then we'll come back. We'll have another go at breaking down this game, so don't go anywhere. We'll see if Jamada can recover in a few minutes.
Long